Hey everyone, welcome to Inside Indiana Overtime. Alex McCarthy, Seth Two, Memorial Stadium, where Indiana lost its first game of the season tonight to Wake Forest, 33-28, in a really kind of bizarre mix of a record-setting night for Richard Lego and kind of a nightmare night for Richard Lego. He threw for almost 500 yards, which is a school record, 496, but he also threw 5 interceptions, which obviously helped lead to Indiana's loss here.
5 interceptions is the statistic that stands out from this game.
Yeah. And what did you see out of Lego? You know, Wilson was talking a little bit after the game about Lego losing his composure at times.
Yeah, I mean, Wilson said that he thought Lego might have been getting out of composure. Lego insisted that he wasn't pressing after any of the interceptions, but it was really the first couple interceptions that were really the most costly. The first interception he threw when IU was on the 10-yard line, inside the 10-yard line of Wake Forest, and it got tipped in the end zone. So I mean that's already a 7-point swing, and then Wake took the drive and scored a touchdown. So that's a 14-point swing in the game. And then there's the pick 6 on the second interception on another tip ball. Neither of which were really Lego's fault, but that's still 2 out of the 5 interceptions on the day, and I mean it's really hard to win against any team when you throw 5 interceptions.
Right, and they still almost did. I mean, they were in it basically until the end. They were running a lot late in the game, which was odd because they were out of timeouts and time was kind of running out. But that was the only time they ran the ball effectively whatsoever.
Some curious clock management today.
Yeah, but yeah, IU had by far its worst rushing performance in the season, only 115 yards.
Ryan Redding's consecutive games with 100 rushing yards streak, his streak ended at 5.
Yep, 68 yards tonight for Redding, only 3.6 yards per rush for IU.
And most of those yards for Devine Redding came in the fourth quarter when they started to really pick up the run game.
Right, which when Wake Forest kind of started dropping back defenders and stuff. So I mean, not a banner night obviously for IU's offense. On the other side of the ball, IU forced 6 3-and-outs, which obviously is a positive, but they really shot themselves in the foot, much like the offense did. 9 penalties, a lot of them on defense, and a lot of them just coming at the worst times. The first one was Ralph Green lined up, was offsides on a play where IU recovered a fumble, which was
the only takeaway that IU's defense was even close to.
Right. And so that play kind of set the tone for the rest of the game. There was a drive at the end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter, where IU gave Wake Forest 45 yards on 4 penalties, including a face mask on a sack that would have ended the drive.
The Richard Lego unsportsmanlike conduct.
There's that as well. I mean, which was one of the points about Lego kind of losing his composure. There was he said something, I guess, to the ref that wasn't kosher. So,
and the refs had already apparently warned the coaches to calm him down, and then he said something that set him off.
Yeah. So, not a kind of a day to forget here at Memorial Stadium if you're IU. The fans were they kind of played exactly to what Wilson was saying.
They didn't exactly take Wilson's comments to heart.
Which was it was outrageously hot down there today.
I don't blame them.
Yeah, and IU was not playing well.
But I mean, a lot of the fans were gone before halftime.
Yeah, so there's that. So really just ugly all around for IU. Positives though, 496 passing yards for Lego. Ricky Jones had his best game ever. Broke 200 yards receiving, 208, which really was his first time being regularly involved in the offense this year.
We saw way more of Ricky Jones today than we did the first 2 weeks combined.
Yeah. So impressive performance from him. Nick Westbrook was great again. He first play of the game, he took a pass over the middle for 75 yards and a touchdown, and then he had IU's second touchdown as well, which was just a little 10-yard pass. But great nights for those guys, great days. I keep thinking that
evenings.
Yeah. And then Tigre Scales had a great game, 13 tackles on the defensive side of the ball. But other than that, not a whole lot of positives to really.
IU's defense wasn't able to generate the turnovers that they were able to get in the first 2 games, and couple that with Richard Lego's 5 interceptions, and you're just really setting yourself up to lose.
Yeah. IU's defense forced 6 takeaways in the first 6 quarters of the season, 0 takeaways in the following 6 quarters. So
And the turnover margin for the team is now an even 0.
Yeah, instead of being one of the best
Thanks
in
to
the country.
the 5 interceptions today and Divine Ring's fumble against FIU.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I guess moving forward, after this, IU's 2-1 goes into Big Ten play where they start off with 2 cupcakes with Michigan State and Ohio State. So
Cupcakes.
it's it's a very likely possibility that IU will be 2-3 coming out of those games.
We'll see.
Anything can happen. But how concerned do you think people should be about this IU team?
I think. I am not. It's hard to tell because I think Wake Forest is a better team. Wake Forest certainly looks the part of a better team than they may be given credit for. I mean, they're 4-0. Wake might be a bowl team this year.
Yeah, they should.
I mean, at 4-0, they only need 2 more wins to really put themselves in the bowl position. So, I mean, losing a game to a bowl team, no, it's not really, really bad. And I think losing to Wake last year would have been worse than losing to Wake this year. But as an IU fan, I think you're more worried about the process than the results today. The 5 interceptions, that's got to have you worried. And I don't know that going to Diamond is the better option, but Lego's got to keep his composure down.
Yeah, today was the first time that we were really going to see Richard Lego tested. And, I mean, at times he looked phenomenal. I mean, they had a bunch of plays of 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 yards.
It was a roller coaster of a game for Lego because even with those 5 interceptions, there were at least 2 drives where they scored touchdowns in like 2 plays.
Yeah. So, I mean, they looked good in spurts. He looked great in spurts and looked terrible at other times. And like you mentioned earlier, a couple of the interceptions weren't his fault. But I mean, they've got to clean that up really all around. It will also help if Indiana gets Dan Feeney and Demetric Camille back healthy. Both of them missed today's game with injury. Dan Feeney with a concussion, Demetric Camille with a vague back issue.
There's missing parts of the offensive line, plus Wake Forest having a good defensive line made it hard for Indiana to rush the ball, which forced them to throw the ball more and causing interceptions. But
and
I think IU is at their best when they're able to have a balanced attack between throwing and running.
Yeah, so they have their work cut out for them. Obviously, the Michigan State lost today, but still
just going to come in here even hungrier.
Right. It's still a really good team. Still a team that beats Indiana soundly. It seems like every year. So we'll see what happens. That's a night game. That one we will be sure to say tonight. But that's 8 p.m. kickoff here next Saturday. So we'll be there very late into the night. But yeah, I think that's all we have from this one. For Seth Two, I'm Alex McCarthy. Have a good rest of your weekend, and we will talk to you next week.